test, test,
If I had a
test.
nickel for
Yeah, it's
every time
not
you
doing the
had to
right
say
thing.
sorry, Ben.
Oh, geez. Yeah, I wouldn't even.
Well, it wouldn't
Tools.
be one of your nickels.
Oh, that it makes me feel a little bit better. Let's see here.
Just so as you
Recording
know,
channel.
I've started the stream.
You started the stream. Hello, everyone.
Yeah.
I am Paul.
And I was gonna go get
It
some
looks
coffee
like
before this, but I
it
didn't
looks
have
like
the
this is
chance.
actually going to work out pretty well. I might sound bad. It might not be using the Blue Yeti, but it might be using the Blue Yeti. I don't know. I
Well, in that
can't
case,
tell,
I'm
Ben.
gonna record the Zoom meeting.
Is there a way
This
is
meeting
there a
is
way to
being
tell what
recorded.
my input is from the recording channel on Audacity? Have you used Audacity enough to
I try not
know?
to use Audacity because it's been revealed that it's considered spyware by certain people now.
What?
Yeah, like
Oh,
beginning with like Audacity 3, it's got spyware that actually spies on you and sends that info back to the mothership. I don't know the details. I just know that a lot of nerds online are like, if you're going to use Audacity, stick with version 2.6.6 or something like that.
wow, that is crazy. Um, so Ben, oh, microphone. There we go. There we go. Ah, got
I'm
it.
rocking 2.4.2. Yeah, there's a little
Ben
microphone
Lawrence.
icon.
Oh
Paul
shit.
Goody.
Wow, this micro. Maybe I'm gonna do that over, Ben.
Okay.
It's peeking out all over the place. All right, let me tone this down a little bit. Let me try this.
Exciting.
Ben Lawrence.
Paul Goody.
Oh, that's no good. Ah, it's fine. Well, maybe it's not. Okay, last time, and then we'll just
Take
we'll
3.
go with whatever it is. Yep, undo record. Put it right about there. Ben Lawrence,
Paul Goody.
I am calling you from Illinois, as always.
I'm here in
How are
Seattle.
things?
Good. You know, every once in a while, somebody who's like, I go see plays or I go see rock shows. I'd love to see what goes on behind the scenes to see how it all comes together. But with podcasts, it's not that exciting.
Yeah, and the people at home aren't going to know exactly what we're talking about. The
Because
people tuning into the live stream are probably super excited right now to have seen what they saw, which is the
to
side of my
see
head.
the side of your head, yeah.
Yeah. People love the side of my head. It's one of my best features. Check that out.
Of
Oh,
all the sides, of
nice.
all the heads.
So we are not playing Periscope. I know some people are like, Periscope is my own version of Microscope. You play it in the bathtub. Other than that, it's pretty much the same. Hey, come on now. Wait a second. No,
I
we
have
are
no
not
idea
playing
what you're talking
Microscope
about.
this time. And you didn't know that we were playing Microscope this last time, and you didn't know we weren't playing Microscope this time.
That's how I roll.
Uh,
I just roll with it.
but I have something to show the people at home. Oh my gosh, look at that. Why is that? I'm not worried about it. It's fine. Oh, wow, that was too loud. All right.
Oh, jeez.
What happened? Said the people listening to the podcast. Oh, Paul isn't facing the microphone. Paul is facing away
Right.
from the microphone. And he decided to turn back and look at what the wave looks like. And he was like, oh, don't like that, Paul thought to himself. But too late.
How come your camera and your microphone are not oriented in the same direction?
Oh, that's a great question, Ben. To answer that, let me show you just
Because
really
you
quick
wanted
my
that
setup here.
awesome background? Okay, yeah, show me your
So,
setup.
so this is where my camera is, and this is where I put the microphone here,
Yeah.
right? Because I was going to use this camera
Yeah.
to record myself for the Zoom,
Yeah.
but this computer, for whatever reason, wouldn't do the Zoom call, so I had to
Ah.
go on my phone. And there's no place to really put my phone over here. Oh, I guess.
You don't have one of those Gorilla Pod phone holder things?
Well, no, I
Speaking
don't.
of
But
how the
you know what I
podcast
could
is
do,
made.
Ben.
What could you do,
I
Paul?
wouldn't use this ring light anymore. Oh, this is great for the people watching.
It's great for the people listening too.
I could put it here, but that's an unflattering angle as far as I'm concerned. Which is why I had it on.
As far as I'm concerned as well.
Hey, wait a second, hold on. How concerned are you, Ben? We could.
Not really. I think maybe 3 or 4 people watch these. The rest just listen.
Wait, hold on. 3 or 4 people? That is like 5 times as many people as I thought. We
have performed in front of smaller crowds, live and in person.
We have. But we did a very good job in most of those instances, I have to say.
I wonder what...
I have to say it. If I didn't say it, you'd be mad at me.
No, I wonder what the smallest...
Could you imagine a relationship, like a behind the scenes on GudeLaurance, where you're just this tyrannical, horrible person in the... Oh, my God. I'm sorry.
It's nice that you say that as if that's not true.
Ben is the greatest. Ben is the greatest partner in comedy or any other. He's so good, and I mean that, Ben. I mean it. So no, But seriously, Ben is so collaborative and so good. Capable of saying no when something is a bad idea, and capable of saying, I have no idea what you're talking about when something is a bad idea, but he's giving you the benefit of the doubt, is what I would say.
Wondering why you're heaping all this praise on me, but I'd like to say that I learned a great deal in learning how to roll with it by performing with you, because there are a number of occasions where we are just about ready to go on stage, and Bruce is in the middle of his introduction to us, and you turn around to me and you say, "I'm gonna change something, just go with it." Ladies and gentlemen, Paul Goody and Ben Lawrence. What? What are you gonna do? Sometimes you just take your pants off and walk out on the stage in your underwear, and a lot of people might like get freaked out by such things if it's not like an improv performance, but that's why my anxiety dreams aren't really your typical anxiety dreams in terms of like actor's nightmare kind of dreams.
Yeah.
I don't have actor's nightmare dreams. I have dreams where I'm just annoyed and frustrated on stage.
That sounds very apt. Very, yes. So we should at the very top mention that something cool happened to me. I received 4 books from Lame Mage. That's Ben Robbins' role-playing game company. From Steven. And that was Microscope. I already have a copy of Microscope, but you can never have more than one. Wait, you can. I have 2 now. And then there's... Oh, in fact, you know what? This is a visual medium. Wait just 1 second. I'm going to pull them out so we can see them, Ben.
What are you going to pull out?
I'm yelling as I'm going... The books. The books, Ben. This will be just 1 second. I'm in another room, but I'll be back very soon.
This is exciting. I was actually being unprofessional and sending a text during the show. A text to myself to remind me not to text during the show.
Hey, that works out.
You carried the dog all the way with you.
If I were facing the microphone, this would actually be pretty good. It's when I face away from the microphone that I go back.
Yeah.
Okay, this is all right. So let me show you. Microscope.
Yes, we're familiar. We played that last week.
Yes. Microscope Explorer. which enhances your microscope experience.
It's okay. It's like
I've not read this one yet.
it's an add-on.
Kingdom,
Okay.
which is a different game that I also have not read through, but I have read through Follow. And Follow is really cool. Follow, you remember what we did with Microscope?
Yes.
Follow is a different, more structured around the dynamics of a specific group of people than Microscope. Microscope is a whole history. Follow is more of the dynamics of a specific group of people. Like if you like doing role playing games where you're a party, Follow is a great one to pick up. I recommend it. And also, as Jennifer pointed out, if you're reading it, say on the bus, people will think that you're joining a cult of some kind.
Yep.
And leave you alone.
Well, I mean, aren't all role-playing games don't you join cults for just a moment in time as the campaign?
It is interesting. I have joined what some would consider a cult on TikTok, which is they're a group called the Beggars. And what they do is they try to get people to play something other than Dungeons and Dragons. And
Gotcha.
They're called beggars because they really are just like, come on, anybody, play something else, get a different game, try something new, that sort of thing.
Yeah, last week we were talking about the sort of like division between the in the gaming community between the Dungeons and Dragons people or maybe it wasn't last week when we were talking about that, but we have talked about there's Dungeons and Dragons people and there are other people.
Right, and it is interesting how much bigger the Dungeons and Dragons group is than the other group. But again, like I said, I think the tides are turning. The whole fact that, again, Dimension 20, using kids on brooms, it's big. It's a big deal.
Using kids on brooms, what does that mean?
Kids on Brooms is another role-playing game, which, in fact, I think I have.
Oh, you may have mentioned this.
Yeah. It's basically a Harry Potter type universe, but not really. You make your own magicking school, wizardry. You play as kids at a magic school, and you learn spells and you do stuff, and it's nice and it's fun. My Tales from the Loop group, which I didn't mean to rhyme, but it does. So Tales from the Loop. Are you familiar with the
nature of the name? I am not
Amazon
familiar with Tales
TV
from the
show?
Loop. No.
Oh, you should look at it. I've described Tales from the Loop in this way: Black Mirror, right, is what about if it's the future, but it's super scary, right?
Okay.
Tales from the Loop is what if it's the future, but everyone is sad. But not in a horrible way. It's a very very emotional sadness kind of thing. I really like it. The game is sort of like that. The issue was I had booked out time to play, and we were sitting down, we were going to play, and then some of the people didn't show up because I didn't think about this. But when it's an online game, people not showing up seems easier, which I thought would be weird. I would think it would be easier to show up. But now that I think about it, if you have made a commitment to be at a certain place at a certain time and you don't show up, it's a bigger deal than if you're, supposed to be, I don't know, say recording a podcast and you don't log in to record your podcast, even though you're at your house where you log in to do the podcast. Sometimes it can be easier to forget because you're not making preparations to take a car somewhere.
So, Steven just said hello. Hello, Steven.
Hello, Steven.
All right, I just said hello back. Whoops. And if I mouse over to this screen, you can see the Zoom controls. Oh no!
Oh, don't do it.
Record on Zoom.
So yeah, the fact that I'm facing directly away from the microphone. Anyone listening to this, they won't need an explanation, but it seems counterproductive to the way that a microphone is supposed to work. So,
Microphones generally work best when you face towards them. Is the cable not
yeah.
long enough to hold it? I'm also
Well,
looking
now,
at your shelves behind you because this is the first time you've had a background, and I'm judging you by the books, but not really. But what's that brown walnutty thing on the top shelf? That looks like a brain.
oh, this, yeah. This is a sculpture from MC Escher. It's a reproduction of it.
Oh, okay.
Um,
Cool.
and it's a bunch of fish.
Interlocking fish.
Yep.
Yeah, look at that.
It's one of my favorite objects. I got it. There was an MC Escher exhibit at the Chess Museum in St. Louis. And it was very cool. And it comes with this little holder. You just put it right there, like that.
Oh, yeah. It's almost as if it was made for it.
Yep. And some say it was. So I got to talk about something.
Talk about something
that is bugging me. So did you know that there is a school for autistic children that does electroshock on them by a device that goes onto their leg?
Today in 2021?
Yes. In fact, this is the thing is there's a guy who I follow on TikTok who was talking about the fact that there's this type of thing called what is it? Something behavioral analysis. I don't want to say it, but its acronym is ABA, Applied Behavioral Analysis, something to that effect.
Yeah.
And one of the schools that teaches this type of thing is involved in this practice. And people were saying ABA is bad. You shouldn't do ABA. And someone said, well, that's the old ABA. It's changed since its roots. And someone else posted, or no, and the same guy posted. So the guy said ABA is bad. Somebody posted and said, you're thinking of the old ABA. And he said, well, it wasn't until last year that they stopped electrocuting their students.
Jeez.
And then, like the next day, basically, the court case got overturned. Because it was the FDA that banned it. So the FDA can no longer ban it now because it's a medical treatment or something to that effect. They used what a lawyer that I follow called a bad faith argument, but now they can do it again. And apparently, even though somebody,
who's they? Is this just one specific institution, or is this a widespread treatment?
Well, okay. So, hey, Jennifer. She may not be able to hear me, but hey, Jennifer. No, there she goes.
Oh, she heard you.
So the question that Ben asked, the school that electrocutes its students, or does the electric shock, was it you that made the statement that, and just think, there are probably private households that do it as well?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
No question.
So yeah, there are private households that do it also. Then there may be other schools. I don't know.
So this electroshock therapy, what's its connection to the FDA, the Food and Drug Administration?
Right. The FDA was they banned certain things, and this was one of the things they banned. They said you can't use this in your school. And then the court said, "Oh, apparently, I guess they can." FDA does some weird stuff. I mean, I think the FDA might have been where they were trying to get like guns prohibited from certain things. Like they can do more than
Hospitals.
just food and drugs. They do other stuff as well. Yeah, they do
It's like
medications, for example.
yeah, it's like
Well,
when
oh, that's
you
drugs though.
it's like when you well treatments. I mean, are treatments considered drug if no drugs
Yeah,
are involved in a treatment, does the FDA still,
have a
have like
jurisdiction.
exactly? Like you said that they do things you wouldn't expect because they're the FDA. It's like when you first learned that the Secret Service was started to combat counterfeit money.
Yeah, or how the ATF uh, does explosive stuff too, or whatever.
Yeah. Oh,
Covers
ATF.
explosives. Yes, that's right. You and I learned about that at the same place.
Yeah. There's
So I see
a
you're checking a thing. Is something going on?
I am well. I when Steven texts the show number, I get an email,
Ah,
which is handy. So yeah, but he says, "Is it a Christian school? $5. It's a Christian school."
oh boy, I don't know. I don't know. It's got the word judge in the front. It's not Judge Reinhold. It's the Judge something school. Um,
Where do you go in front of Judge Reinhold? Why, in Bud Court, my good man.
yes, very good, very good. Oh, that actually was a thing. That was a thing. On Arrested Development,
Yeah,
they
yeah,
had Judge Reinhold, and they
and
had
and they
Bud
did
Court.
Bud Court. Yeah.
Yeah, which was awesome.
Oh
Um,
gosh. Steven says the ATF spends more time burning children alive than you'd expect. There's actually a mini series that was on.
sorry, that's
I
why did I smile and
think
laugh when he said? I
I think it
mean,
was on HBO about the Waco standoff, which is quite interesting.
yeah, I had a videotape that I bought of a documentary on that just for research for ATF.
Rules of engagement.
I believe so. Yes.
Yeah, yeah. I bought that
Right.
too. We probably bought it at the same time to learn.
And,
I think we
and
watched it like during the rehearsal process for that play. We went to like Paul Boudreaux's house and watched that documentary.
that sounds correct. That we might have watched it somewhere. But
Yeah.
yeah, I had a whole David Koresh impression that I worked up from that. Can't do it anymore. Wouldn't want to, but yeah, that was something that.
Yeah.
And then he became Zabu Dabe after that, which was my character for
Zabu
ATF and
Dhabi.
Burlesque. Yeah,
The ceiling gnome.
yeah,
Hey,
exactly.
Edward.
Oh, that was a big thing that happened on RPG TikTok recently. Somebody asked that people stop using the term dice goblins because it was anti-Semitic, because goblins were anti-Semitic. And then there was an argument about how far back that went. And my general rule is, if someone says, "Hey, I would prefer if you don't use this word," right? Whatever the word is, if somebody says, "I would prefer if you don't use this word anymore," I feel like if I fight against that, if I say, "Well, I think I should be able to use this word," I'm usually on the wrong side of the argument in general. Like,
I think Edward agrees.
not saying that I can't use any word I want to, but I don't know, the fighting so that I can use a word in general seems like I could spend my energy doing something else.
Yeah, I mean, if there's a word that is, offensive to people, then yeah, just it's easier to just go along and not fight for
Like if someone's name is Michael and you call him Mike and he says, "I prefer to be called Michael,"
it.
calling him Mike after that point, what are you doing? Why are you
You're
doing
just
it? 'Cause
a
there are people
jerk.
who will. There are people who will and will actually pause before they say it with a little grin on their face and go, "Mike," like that. happens to Jennifer whenever she says she doesn't want to be called a certain variation of Jennifer, and
Right.
people do it.
Niffer.
Niffer. Hey, Jennifer. I don't know if that's ever
I'm
been
sure
used.
somebody at some college somewhere called someone that.
What's that? Niffer sounds cool, in my opinion. Niffer. Man, oh man. No, we've been married now
A long
going
time.
on 16 years.
16 years, yeah. I was at your
I
wedding.
cannot start calling her Niffer now.
But what if she asked you to?
If she asked me to, of course I would. Yeah, I'd start today.
I think we've mentioned this before. My mom's brother changed his name, his first name, but my mom, not when she's with us and he can't hear because he lives in a different city, calls him by his old name. And at
Gotcha,
first
yeah.
I'm like, well, he wants to be called by a different name. But then I thought, you know what? You're his older sister. You basically can call him whatever you want.
Right. And I mean, I can understand the idea that you want to start to normalize and set a precedent or whatever. But I had a would you rather at one point in time, and it was would you rather um, your friends talked about you behind your back, but were nice to you in person, or were mean to you in person, but nice to you, like said nice things about you when you weren't
Right.
around.
Yeah.
And surprisingly, a lot of people chose mean to me in person and said nice things about me when I wasn't around, which I find crazy. I want people to be nice to me.
But talk smack about you behind your back?
Well, I can't control that, you know?
Yeah.
Um, I mean, I could during the would you rather, but think about it. Jennifer was the one who pointed this out. If you want somebody who's nice to you in public and says good things, but is mean to you in private, that's an abusive relationship, and therefore not great. My most recent would you rather, which I will pitch to you because you're not on TikTok. Uh, would you rather, Ben, have a hover bike that broke about once a week and it took you about an hour to fix it, but you could fix it yourself, or a hover bike that works for like a full year, but then when it breaks, you have to take it in for repairs, and it costs $1,000 to fix.
Yeah. I don't know, because that sounds just like having a car. So maybe if I could fix my hover bike myself, maybe I'd go the first route.
This is what I try to figure out something that has good and bad on both sides, so that I really want to hear what people think. But that was my whole thing with the fixing it. Like, people don't like to fix things
Yeah.
in general. We have become a society of people who are like, well, I'll pay somebody else to do it. And it's like, you've got a hover bike, you can use it, and really, I mean, what we're talking about more than anything is maintenance, right? We're talking about
Well, and convenience. I mean, if your hover bike breaks once a week and like you're en route to someplace and you need to be there on time, but your hover bike is broken, and now you got to spend
yeah,
an hour to fix it. It's more convenient to know that your hover bike is going to be in the shop for a couple weeks. You have to pay $1,000. You can plan around that.
mm, yeah, yeah. I'm on the fix it side, I think, for me. So, one of the fun things, Ben, is that I'm not watching the clock this way. I do, however, look at my watch. Let me tell you something about this watch, Ben. You see
It
how
just looks
it's
like a wristband.
metal links,
Yeah.
right?
Oh, you wear your watch
It
on your.
I
Yeah.
wear my
Okay.
watch this way. Here's
Weirdo.
why. Much more natural. Just what time is it? Oh, it's this time. I don't have to turn my
It's
wrist
so
this way. I
hard.
just pick it up and I look at it. Um,
Paul,
but it
pretend you're
yeah.
sitting down and your hands are on the table.
Okay.
How do you look at your watch?
All right. So my hands are like this on the table. I flip my wrist over like this and I look down at my watch.
Wouldn't it be
But
easier
then,
if the watch face was on the top of your wrist? Let's say you're typing. Like you do a
look,
lot.
what's going to happen is that the light's going to catch the reflective face of the watch, and then the enemy is going to know where I am. Whereas if I have it like this, it's secret.
But if your enemies are cats, then they'll just chase the reflection on the wall.
I need to once again state this. So I know I probably stated this already, but I want there just to be a record of it. I think that there should be a scene in a movie where people go to the wrong house. You know, the police break in and they're like up against the wall, and it's a crazy cat lady's house, and all the police have laser sights on their weapons, and all the cats. There are 100 cats in the room, and all the cats just go crazy chasing all the other things while the people are shouting. It hasn't been done yet, to my knowledge, and it should. It would be excellent.
So you got the laser pointers on the crazy cat lady, so she's being basically attacked by her own cats. But then off in the corner, there's a cop with his gun, his laser gun, just playing with a cat, in the corner, just having fun.
And the cats are flipping around and everything, and they're like, "Get down on the ground." And she's like, "I didn't do anything." It would be great. It would be great. We should do it.
We know your name is. Yeah, fine. Just herd a bunch of cats and let's shoot this film.
Exactly. That's right. Yeah. Let's get a. Actually, yeah. What a nightmare. What a nightmare. More than 5 cats in a room. No, thank you.
It's gotta be. There was a MythBusters episode where they had to herd cats.
Oh.
How'd it
go?
Into something. I don't think it went real well. I vaguely remember the concept. I don't recall how it ended.
Yeah. Hey, Jennifer.
But it probably wasn't very easy.
I think Jennifer just made some food. I'm smelling it.
That might account for the smell. Is it dinner time? Is 6:30 your new dinner time?
Not really. We eat late usually.
Yeah.
But it might be the she made this stuff called pasta chips that was really good.
Pasta chips.
Yeah, it's pasta that's then fried in an air fryer, basically, with a whole bunch of cheese, and it becomes crunchy and tasty. You cook the pasta first, and then you fry it.
Yeah. It reminds me of that joke where you say, I'm on the pasta diet. When I'm out, I just walk past the sweet shops and past the grocery stores and don't go home.
I'm on a pasta diet. Whenever I see pasta, I eat it.
Yep.
Yep. Oh my gosh. So I have been watching Loki on Disney Plus. Do you have Disney Plus?
I don't, but Blair does, and I don't know. We've seen 4 episodes.
Okay. Did you see the end, the after credits?
Yes.
Thing? Okay. So the old Loki. Right?
Spoilers.
Loki spoilers. The old Loki looked to me like Werner Herzog.
Well, hang on a sec. So far, there's only been, as in my recollection, 1 after credit sequence.
What was that after credit sequence? You can tell me.
I think, so he was, whatever they call it when they stab him with the sticks and they disintegrate. Yeah. There's a name for it. And so you think he's dead, but then he wakes up someplace.
Yeah.
Is that the scene you're talking about?
And there are 3 guys there.
Yes.
Did you not watch to the point where, okay, so there are 3 guys there. And one of them is
Dude, it was like 2 weeks ago. I don't remember everything I watch on TV.
One of them is an older guy.
Okay.
And I was like, is that Werner Herzog? But no,
And
it was Richard E. Grant.
Richard E. Grant, famously a Werner Herzog lookalike.
Well, he
No,
is now.
Werner Herzog was in Mandalorian. Do you think that they would? Do you think they would like uh, do that crossover?
Oh boy, I don't know.
It's all owned
It
by
would be
Disney.
it would be funny if Loki showed up in the Mandalorian, but everybody would also hate it probably.
Yep.
But it'd be fun. I think it'd be fun.
Doo-doo-doo-doo-doo.
So what's going on now? Sorry, I'm always watching Ben. People at home, and whenever Ben looks off the screen, I'm always like, "What's going on? What is it?"
What's going on? I'm doing a lot of things. So over here, I got you on the big screen on Zoom. So if I want to look at
Hello.
hey, if I want to look at your books, I see that you have the Rat Queen trade there.
Oh yeah, yeah. Do you know about the Rat Queen?
I know of it. I have not read it.
Hey, or Rat Queens, I
It's
think.
behind you.
Talking about comics,
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
Paul
Paul
Pope,
Pope, Battling
Battling
Boy.
Boy. Paranoia, the game. Uh, El Aleph by Borges, in Spanish. Because remember when I was going to learn Spanish? I'm still working on it, but it dropped off.
You're not fluent yet?
Yeah.
Are you still
No.
learning? Are you still doing your different languages a different day?
I'm not Ben. I got into role playing games instead. Actually, what really happened was work got super hectic,
Yeah.
and so I didn't have as much time as I used to have.
Steven says Paul is not always watching Ben. That is a terrible lie.
Oh well, yeah, probably so. There's
I'm always watching you, but then I'm watching this, and I'm watching this, and I'm writing down that.
I don't know. I've gotten better at eye contact over the years. I think, like a little voice inside my head is like eye contact, and then I do it. Have we talked? We've talked about the multiple Pauls theory before, right?
Yes, that you have different personalities, but they're all named Paul.
Yeah, and so I therefore like a couple of times it's happened recently where I find out something for the first time. I'm not going to talk about what the thing is, but I find out about something for the first time, and Jennifer's already had a conversation with me about it.
But that's just, I mean, that's the same thing as me not remembering that there was an old Loki and that, you know, maybe a different Ben watched that episode.
Yeah. Well,
just
hey, I'm
forgot.
not saying it isn't you too, Ben. You never know. We talked about this. Here's Edward, right?
Yeah.
Edward's
belly
is right here. This is it. It's about 1 inch. So if you're gonna pet his belly, you have to kind of just go.
You got to be careful.
Like you have to be careful. You got to watch out for this guy.
Yeah.
He's got issues. He's a tiny boy. So,
doggy issues.
What about in the news, Ben? What is going on?
I've been reading a lot about that condo collapse in Florida.
Oh, that's right, the condo collapse.
Yes,
that's
because for those of us who actually live not in condos but in tall apartment structures, where that thing just seemed to happen at random, you know, what caused it? And as my building going to do that as well when I'm asleep.
Yeah, not a great thing. Not a great thing for sure. I will say this: there is a thing that happened to me that was news sort of related, but it was while I was watching Public Freakout. I saw a thing happen almost in real time because things were being posted to it. You may or may not know about this. It happened in New Jersey. Do you know about this? There was a guy who was harassing a woman who lived in in a condo near him, and there's another guy who was trying to like stop him from harassing this person,
No.
and the man called him a bunch of ethnic slurs,
Okay.
and then said there's nothing you can do about it because they had called the police,
Yeah.
and he said there's nothing you can do about it, and the police came, and the guy who was shouting the slurs and stuff said to the police officer, go ahead and tell them there's nothing that you can do about it. And the police officer was like, oh, come on. Come on, just go home. Stop. Do you guys want to go inside and talk about this? And the guy's like, see? And he like then did something kind of amazing. He gave his personal address to the people and said, stop on by whenever you want.
This was the cop.
No, the guy.
The guy who was saying
like,
the slurs.
The cops can't do anything.
Right.
Cops can't do anything to me. All this is totally legal. Come to my house. We can have a conversation about it. How about? Like, being a big guy. And then later on, he went back, and they recorded him then too, where he explained that he was a drug dealer and that the cops were on his payroll.
What?
Yeah. And then something fun happened. This had, as you know, had gotten on public freakout. And he had given out his personal address and told people to show up. So a bunch of people showed up.
Yeah.
And protested outside of his house. And the last video I saw of it, they were taking him away. They had arrested him. Yeah.
Because the cops that weren't on his payroll caught wind of the drug dealer's address.
Or the cops that were on his payroll were like, well, shoot, I guess we better do something before we get wrapped up in this. And somebody posted, oh yeah, this kind of stuff happens all the time. He probably went to school with somebody who's a cop. And, because that kind of relationship happens around here all the time. It's just that this guy screwed it up for everybody because he's had to run his mouth all over the place. And I was thinking about that. If you were a crooked cop and this guy just wouldn't shut up and you're like, come on. Ooh, speaking about, come on, Mr. In Between on Hulu has a new season.
Never heard of it.
Have you seen any of Mr. In Between? I highly recommend it.
I'm watching Mythic Quest right now because it was recommended to me. Have you seen this?
Is Mythic Quest a Apple TV?
It is an
property?
Apple TV property.
Yeah,
Apple
I don't
TV Plus.
have Apple TV.
Ah.
What is it though? Explain it to me.
It is a World of Warcraft type game studio, and it's written by and produced by Rob McElhenney and Charlie Day of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia and Megan Gans from Community. And Danny Pudi is in it, Rob McElhenney's in it, and a couple other people that I don't know. But it's just, it's the madcap adventures of this crew that produces an online RPG.
Very cool. That sounds great. Are you liking it?
I'm liking it. It's one of those things where every once in a while... Oh, F. Murray Abraham is in it as well.
Wow.
Yeah. It's one of those things where, as I'm watching it, because it was recommended to me by someone who I recommended Ted Lasso to. And Ted Lasso also an Apple TV Plus
I was about to say, two people recommending Apple stuff, like there are so many shows that they wouldn't have heard of it before. They heard of it. You just said, yeah, you should give it a shot. I'm guessing.
Well, I mean, it was one of those things where it's like, everybody's talking about this show called Ted Lasso. Is it really that great? And I went into it doing that. I was like, is it really that great? I kind of went into it hate watching it at first because I'm like, this show has been hyped so much. You have to impress me. And it did. I really enjoyed it. So I told this person, you got to watch Ted Lasso. And yeah, I've heard that before. They watched Ted Lasso and they really enjoyed it. So they're like, okay, now I watched Ted Lasso. You got to watch Mythic Quest. So I'm watching Mythic Quest. But in Ted Lasso, there's are like 90% of the characters are redeemable, right? You like them, you root for them. In Mythic Quest, maybe 2 or 3 characters have good qualities, and the other characters are just jerks.
Is one of them the Danny Pudi character that has good qualities?
No, he's one of the jerks.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, well there you go. I was thinking about this because of the Fast and Furious franchise. How there are rules that a couple of the heroes to never lose a fight on screen.
Really?
Yeah, and I was thinking about that, and I was like, wonder if Danny Pudi has something that says you have to like my character, and he doesn't because you don't.
Cole says that. Sorry. So Cole's the one who told me to watch Mythic Quest.
Oh, there you go.
He said that every once in a while, I just started season 2. So to answer your question, Steven, yes, I have seen the flashback origin episode. Cole says that there's a reason they show you like a reason why Danny Pudi's character is the way he is. And but then after that, I guess you sort of have sympathy for him. But I mean, that was one of the things about Ted Lasso is even like the antagonists of the show like redeemed themselves at the end, and you kind of rooted for them. You felt sorry for them. So I'm wondering if they're going to be able to do that with Mythic Quest.
Maybe so. That would be nice. Dig yourself a hole and then
figure out how to get out
positive.
of it. Yeah.
Speaking about digging yourself a hole, why don't we talk about another GudeLaurance Blast from the Past?
Oh yeah.
Performance.
What did we do? My question to you every time is, do you remember what we talked about last time?
I want to say maybe it was a video.
I think it was a video. I think it was like Puppet House or something. Oh no, Ninja Exterminators.
No, Ninja Exterminators. Yeah, you got it.
Yeah.
I blame it on the lag. I was saying it too.
All right, let me see. So Ninja Exterminators was June 5th, 2006. June 2nd, 2006. Paul and Ben Dashing Sportsman. Oh, this is the infamous one. Do you? Oh, so let me read.
Wait, June 2nd or July 2nd?
June 2nd, 2006.
So, and Puppet House was when?
Well, Ninja Exterminators was May 5th.
Ninja Exterminators. Oh, May. Okay.
We haven't gotten to Puppet House yet, but listen to the description of Paul and Ben Dashing Sportsman.
I do not remember this one.
You will. Paul straps his newborn child to his chest while he and Ben have a marshmallow eating contest.
Oh no! Oh no!
An audience member storms out of the theater during this performance.
She didn't just storm out of the theater. She first stormed up to me and yelled at me for a very long time.
Do you remember who it was? Did you know who it was?
I did not know the person. No.
Okay.
Do you know who the person was?
I do not know. I didn't even know this was happening because I was like in the moment, you know. I'm like trying to choke down marshmallows, and it was just chaos. Yeah. So yeah, I'm sure Steven if he's still watching, he remembers this one. Because
I really think that the person was not a regular, and perhaps was the lone voice of reason at the time, because Betty was upset, and the reason she was upset was because I was leaning forward, and she hated that whenever you would lean forward and she was in the thing.
Yeah,
she was in the strap.
That's Paul and Ben Dashing Sportsman.
Wow.
15 years ago.
And these days, Betty loves marshmallows. So take that, science.
Take that,
Well, I mean,
lady who got mad.
Yeah, exactly. You are traumatizing the child. This is trauma. That was one of the things she was repeating. This is trauma. Which, who knows? Maybe she does have nightmares of, I don't know. I there are so many things that happened to Betty that weren't cool. You know what I mean? Like I bonked her head one time, putting her up on my shoulders. She fell down a flight of stairs at one point in time.
Holy crap.
Our house was flooded, and there were these big industrial fans. And we find out later that she really hates noises like that.
Yeah.
When I say we found out later, I mean we kind of knew already, but I mean that was crazy.
She'd always get upset whenever we rehearsed music around your house.
Yep. Doesn't like music. There's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff there. So
well, if so a performance piece we have to do now is when things start back up. If you guys move back to Seattle, we do a spin the bottle. We bring Betty on stage. We explained what happened, and then we ask Betty if she's traumatized by marshmallows.
Yeah, that's right. Or she comes in and just starts throwing marshmallows at us. How do you like it? Yeah. So Jennifer definitely is on board for us moving back to Washington. I don't know if we can afford to live in Seattle, but it definitely is something that a location where we want to end back up. I think because we both really like Washington State.
It is a great state sometimes. Except when we were underneath a heat dome.
Yeah, right. That's crazy. Like North Bend, I want to say.
No, you don't want to live in North Bend.
Would be cool just because of the Twin Peaks thing, but so
you're just as isolated out there as from Seattle as you are in Illinois.
Yeah, but we could make it to Seattle in like an hour or whatever. So that's something.
Well,
but
depending on the day, who knows? Depending on the time.
All I know is that we're of one mind as far as that goes, so that's good.
Good. How does Edward feel about moving to a different state?
Well, I don't know. I mean, we are living in Edwardsville right now, so he definitely. Oh shoot, we still have 10 minutes, Ben. I thought we had 10 minutes, but we didn't start recording right away.
Oh.
So we have 10 minutes.
Had a couple of false starts in there.
Yeah, we did, but I replaced them.
So I see.
It's not something that we need to snap back for.
Well, we could do that thing where we end the show early. It is 7:00.
Wait, do we do a thing where we never end the show early, Ben? Nice try, pal.
Because that one person who's never listened to the show never will.
Oh, yes. You were, of course, talking about Joe Garden. Joe Garden, who listed his least favorite type of podcast, which was two white guys talking about nothing for an hour. And therefore, that is exactly what our podcast is. I think we're doing a great job. It is one of our best endurance challenges, Ben. I think we're doing a good job.
And we've done a lot of those.
Yes. What is your favorite? And we'll get to it eventually.
One might say the watching us on stage is an endurance challenge for the audience.
Oh, that is true. That is true. Okay, here's a question. Was there anything that... do you have things that are not Spin the Bottle related listed in our archive of performances that we do?
I think I do. Yeah.
Okay. Then never mind, because I was going to ask a question. But we can just wait for that to happen.
Yeah, because we've been doing this for a couple years, and we've made it through... not very much. We still have a lot to go. But, It's not like we have a time limit on or a stopping point of the podcast.
Well,
unless you do move back to Seattle.
It might be cool if we eventually loop around and start talking about the podcast episodes that we did.
Yep.
I think that would be.
We review our own podcast on our podcast.
Yeah.
That would mean
I was thinking
we'd have to listen to it. That would mean we'd have to listen to them.
Oh, shoot. Yeah, you're right. But I was thinking about this. So we did a show a month, every month for 15 years.
Yeah.
Or no, about 15 years.
We did about 130 something different performances.
And so if we do a podcast a week, but we don't talk about it every week. That's the thing. That's what gives us a little bit more longevity.
Yeah.
Because I was going to say, how long does it take us to get through the entire thing?
Well, we probably would have gotten it by now if we did it every time.
But we don't, because we're nothing if not inconsistent.
Exactly.
Consistently inconsistent. The GudeLaurance guarantee.
We think you like it, but you might not. It's okay. It'll be over soon.
Oh my gosh, I forgot about that. Paul Goody's vegan pies. Do you remember that?
I don't.
Paul Goody's vegan pies. And my catchphrase was, "Sorry, everybody," which I thought was great. As I was making, for a while, I was making stuff and it wasn't good.
That's a show note right there. Paul Goody's vegan pies.
Yeah, I gotta say that making a vegan pie in general, pretty easy. If you don't care about whether or not it's good.
I cannot say that I've had a vegan pie. I can't say that I've had a vegan pie before. I generally don't like pies.
I mean, all it has to do is use like coconut oil instead of butter or whatever, and then you're pretty good. You know what my favorite pie is, though? Have we talked about this already?
We have not. What's your favorite pie?
The apple pie at Cafe Ladro is amazing.
Really?
Yes. Is Cafe Ladro still around?
Yeah. Yeah, in fact, the one that's in the 801 tower on 8th, the circular one.
Yep, I know all about it.
I walk past that building a lot, and Ladro just recently reopened. Like within the last month, they were because they were closed, but now maybe their pies are back.
Yeah, it would be good to see. Pfizer. Wait a second, this sounds like a conspiracy to me. No, I wanted to live at 801 for a while.
Oh yeah?
Like I was always like, oh, I want to live there, but enough people who worked at Amazon told me that it was bad, and I shouldn't move there.
Did they say why it was bad?
Oh, just that. Okay, listen. People listening to this podcast, if you work for this building, I'm just repeating what someone told me over like 20 years ago now. Wait, yeah, over 20 years ago. So, grain of salt, all that. They said that maintenance wasn't, like there was a huge roach problem.
Okay.
And nobody was taking care of it. That was the main thing. Now I'm thinking, though. Oh, I was thinking about moving there. Oh, yeah, Paul, no, you don't want to live there. Huge roach problem. Okay, well, what are you guys doing this weekend? Nothing. We're not doing anything. Can you believe it? Anyway, see you later. I'm kidding.
See you on Monday.
You know me. I don't like hanging out with people in general. That's pretty standard, right? That's a real thing. I would go to parties every once in a while, but in general, it was hard to get me out to do things.
Yeah, especially after Betty was born.
Well, yeah. I mean that though, just a good excuse, really.
But
I don't know.
It's a great excuse. You really engineered that well. But I'd say before that, you were sociable enough. Nobody ever thought, why doesn't Paul hang out?
Okay, well, that's good. Because when I was in the nonprofits, that was one of the big things. Nonprofits, it's improv and sketch comedy troupe that I was in.
Yeah.
They always wanted me to hang out. Never liked hanging out. Same thing with the coworkers wanting to, happy hour. Come on, let's go. Why?
Well, you shouldn't socialize with coworkers.
This is my point exactly. Why would you want to? Whoa, find some reasons not to like me. But we can really talk about real issues like politics, and no,
Yeah,
absolutely not. No,
let's
I will
not
not
pretend we didn't.
Yeah. Speaking of politics, Ben, I like the idea of socialism.
You dirty commie.
Yeah, I was thinking about it the other day, and I'm like, the thing is that I don't mind being told what to do as long as I like what I'm being told to do. And I know that doesn't make sense, but
very picky.
There's some people who don't like laws just in general, right?
Screw the
But
man.
if there's a law that's like, hey, you gotta press this button before you cross the street, I'm fine with that. If there's a law that says, hey, if someone is of this ethnicity, you can't give them a job, I don't like that.
Right.
So I would say that's why I put myself down as being lawful neutral. Even though I want to be chaotic good. Chaotic good is what everyone wants to be. Like, I'm just a good person. I don't care about your rules. I'm going to be good no matter what. That's what people want to be. I know few people who actually are. But it's something to aspire to, I think, in general.
I don't know. The chaotic neutral people, or the chaotic good people, are a lot to handle.
Yeah.
They tire you out.
True.
They tire you out.
Chaotic neutral is extremely a lot to handle. No, thank you. Now,
just
I like to play chaotic neutral in games because I like playing people that mess up and do things the wrong way. It's one of my favorite deals. It's just like whenever I play Grand Theft Auto, for a while, all I'll do is just crash my car over and over and over again because I love it so much.
Well, you can't do it in real life, so why not do it in a game?
I have done it in real life, and let me tell you, not as fun. Definitely not.
All right, maybe we'll hear that story next week.
And hey, we can talk about. We could probably fill up the whole hour talking about every car accident I've been in.
All right.
So until then,
tune in next week for the car accident episode. Yeah. Keep it wrong, like crashing your car.
Yeah. Hey, it all works out in the end. And Betty's at band camp, so. So no yelling for Betty. Oh, we'll do it.
Yelling.
Hey, Betty! She's not here.
She's not there. Yeah. I figured that she either was not home or was told you before we started that she didn't want to do this anymore.
Yeah. So far, she hasn't done that too much. Oh. So far, they haven't done that.
Oh, really?
Yes. And
is that
they never listened to the podcast, so yeah, I'm not going to get caught up for it, though. But now I know. I remember. What is that, Jennifer? She has food.
Chicken meatballs with undercooked rice.
Chicken meatballs with undercooked rice.
Well, have fun.
Talk to you later.